are listening to the Chomp Cast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp. And remember, you can always go to swordchomp.com where you can access the many places our podcast is available for download. But if you're listening to the show right now, that means you found us. So welcome to the madness that is the Chomp Cast. The show this week is destined to be a cult classic as me and Fish delve into our violence-laced Montana gaming adventures. And after spending some more time with Sea of Thieves, me and Josh think it's a far cry from the disappointment that critics have been labeling it. As everyone
you
rolls
get
their
it?
eyes. Wink, wink.
It's
It's subtle. I know. Subtle. The bio break this week is related to surviving the Ice Age, and Shay has an interesting way of relating that back to his homeland of Montana. Because it's a very special bio break this week, as Montana is sort of the theme of the show, and that's where me and Shay are basically from in a lot of ways. But we'll get to that later. So it's going to be really cool. The polls this week that we're going to discuss from the @SwordChomp Instagram page. We have all the results for the Far Cry Villains poll. Morgan wearing a bra, which by the way, I'm wearing it right now as we record. A Bug's Life versus Ants, Westworld, and more. And of course, the topic of the show discussion this week with help from the Instagram community @SwordChomp on Instagram is basically this. Do video games have an obligation to say something, to make a political or social stance? Inspired by the critics calling out Far Cry 5 for saying nothing. All that and much, much, much more. It's going to be an awesome Chompcast. So let's get right to some introductions here. Fish, my good friend, is here, of course, from Texas. I got some cult-themed intros inspired by, Far Cry 5 is grabbing a lot of headlines for the whole cult thing that's critics have been talking about. There's a cult in Far Cry, and it reminded me a lot of this cult that me and Fish tried to start back when he lived in Montana. It was sort of like a tiny penis cult, and basically anyone bigger than 2 inches was our enemy, and they were sinners, right, Fish? You remember that?
Oh, that is right. Yeah. Do you remember our whole spiel of recruiting people?
The spiel. You know what, Fish? I did. I found the old. We have like an old copy of the spiel from like one of our old propaganda videos.
Oh, you have one of the sacred texts. Okay.
I do. I have one of those sacred texts. I wanted to show it to Shay and Josh here.
When the big penis.
Oh, hold on. Let's try that again. Okay, this is a good one. You guys ready for this?
Penis. When the big penis government comes into our town and tries and takes away our little dicks and the women that we have acquired, that is when our prophecy will be fulfilled. We will fight back the big dicks. We will knock the big dicks into the dirt. And we will say, no more. No more big dicks swinging here.
No more.
Only little dick swings here shall swing forevermore.
I thought it was going to be an amen at the end of that, but
Yeah. No, that was yeah. And thus it was written.
Oh God, I love
2 inches good, 4 inches bad.
That's an Animal Farm reference, and I love it.
Wait,
I just read that this week, so that's perfect.
Who had the Animal Farm reference? Josh? I missed it. Damn it.
Uh,
I've never seen Animal Farm. I don't know anything.
Have you ever read Animal Farm, Morgan?
Oh, sorry. I never read Animal Farm. I have no idea what Animal Farm is, so I'm definitely not. But I'm gonna look it up right now.
yeah, it's that Belushi film.
Okay. Was that Animal House? You're fucking with me, aren't you? You're fucking with me. He's fucking with me, goddammit. Yes, so Fish, I found the sacred text. Listening to that, does it bring back a lot of memories for you there? Or?
Oh, yeah. It's a shame that cult of ours never took off.
I don't know.
Just couldn't find enough people, to
It was weird.
penis size.
It was strange how there was nobody else that quite met our qualifications for being in there. But anyways, we're better men today. So it was a different time in our life, but we remember that. I'm glad you're here, Fish. We'll talk a little Far Cry later, among other things. Shay, our good friend Shay Layton is here from Japan. Picked a very special bio break this week, Shay. I remember I got with you this week and I was like, look, this is right up your alley because we're talking a lot of Montana. And I know that, we always pick out the bio breaks for the show, and this is where you got your degree in biology. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for the article that you're talking about this week.
Yeah, I approached this article with arms wide open under the sunlight. Mm-hmm. And I really thought, bringing it here, I would welcome it to this place.
I'm right there with you.
Thank you.
When you were doing that, did tears of joy stream down your face by chance?
Yeah. I was just thinking to myself, I will show you everything.
Oh, that's what I want to see, Shay. I want to see everything. God, that is the strangest, weirdest, confusing reference that we pulled into the show.
I somehow pulled it off. Not very well, but I did it. To the dismay of Josh, but I did it.
Unfortunately, my show notes are covering Josh's face right now, so I can't see his dismayed face. I'm just going to imagine that it's very much dismayed. Also, there's a part in Far Cry that reminded me of you this week, Shay. I had to rescue a park ranger from... So, the outpost in this game, the very first one you save people from was it was a ranger... What do they call those? A little ranger place. God damn it, a ranger place. That's the technical term.
The Jeep
dealership station?
Yeah, ranger station. And station. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word station. And it was pretty cool. You just had to kill a couple guys. And when you took it over, they came back and they took control of it. And it was kind of this thing. I was like, kind of like I just saved Shay in my imaginary world. So it was cool. There's a lot of little things about Far Cry I think you'll enjoy when you get around to it.
Yeah, I definitely want to get around to that game. But that's something we can talk about later.
Yeah. The Montana is strong in this one. Josh is also here. The one and only Joshua Fowler is here. Now, Josh, as I move my notes over so I can see your dismayed face, I was preparing these Montana-themed intros. I realized how badly, Josh, I want to see you in a cowboy hat before I die. Do you think I have any chance of making that a reality? That's a maybe.
That's tough.
A grunt is a maybe.
I think there's a much larger chance of seeing me in only a cowboy hat than any other configuration of clothing that contains a cowboy hat.
Okay. So it's either only or not at all.
It seems most likely, given current data.
I think that could be something we contribute to that we were talking about earlier on.
Oh, if we get that Patreon going, you can pay a certain amount of money to see only Josh in a cowboy hat? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, okay, well.
Because I don't know what you're talking
about. I like the idea, though. By the way, everyone, exciting news. We're looking to launch a Patreon in May. More in the coming weeks. But yeah, Josh, I was thinking about that as I was talking to my lady, and I was like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, Josh, be honest here. We got to have some vulnerability on the podcast. How excited would your lady be to see you wearing a cowboy hat in the bedroom? Scale to 1 to 10.
It starts at 1.
1 being, take that thing off, and 10 being, wear it every time, baby.
Negative.
I think you're asking the wrong
4 or
question.
5.
I think you would need a pinwheel hat to really get her excited.
A pinwheel hat? What the fuck? That sounds horrifying. A 5? Josh, you say a 5?
I said negative,
10?
Probably 4 or 5.
Oh, okay, so negative. It's funny, Josh. By the way, my name is Morgan Barnes. I'm here from Montana. My girlfriend told me that she was worried when she was younger. She lived out in the country, and every dude she ever met was like a cowboyish kind of dude, and she was worried that that's who she was going to get stuck with her whole life. And she was mortified of that, so she was very happy when she met me because I was not a cowboy. So I saved her.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, it's good.
You're the trailer trash that the cowboys stomp on.
Yeah, he's a horse thief.
trailer trash, horse thief. What is going on here? I don't like any of those terms. Trailer trash.
I'm sorry. I just shit on Morgan for no reason. I'm sorry, Morgan.
That's all right. I just thought that was funny. She dodged a bullet. But yeah, so by the way, for our listeners, this doesn't translate well to radio, so maybe it wasn't the smartest gag, but I am wearing a bra while we record this podcast. Pretty juvenile, and if anything, and my girlfriend was surprised. It was so funny. So me and my girlfriend were kind of getting our freak on before the podcast, and right after our intimate session, I literally popped out of the bed and said, "Hey babe, by the way, I need to borrow a bra." And she was like, "What?" That was the weirdest thing anyone's ever popped up and said to me after coitus. So,
the sex was that bad, huh?
You popped up again right after coitus? I admire your endurance, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I admire it greatly.
It's the only time I ever popped up again. That's right.
She's like,
No,
why
but
are you more excited to wear a bra than have sex with me?
Well, whatever floats your boat. She was excited to pick this bra up to me too. She's like, "Oh, I got this bra. I think it'll really bring out your eyes. It's a nice blue color." I'm like, "I don't think they'll be able to see that on the webcam, but thank you." So yes, they voted on the poll. And it wasn't a resounding. I think I got like 40% of the votes. I think were like sympathy votes where people were like, let's not make this guy wear a bra. Because when Fish did the banana thing, it was like 90% make him eat a spicy banana. And whenever I did this one, it was like only 60% make him wear a bra. So I think there was more sympathy there. So sorry, Fish. They're looking out for me. They don't care about you eating spicy bananas. They're looking out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, my butthole wasn't very happy after that banana.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that was on the Instagram this week. So
I bet your muscles were really confused because, like, banana obviously has a lot of potassium to kind of recharge your muscles, but then hot sauce makes them kind of clench. So it's like, because of like the ingredients, so your muscles are like, I'm supposed to be relaxing and rejuvenating, but I have to clench because of that hot sauce. What's your...
My asshole was very confused on the toilet.
Well,
it was on the toilet. Your asshole was on the toilet. How did you shit with your asshole literally on the toilet? Just smeared all over the toilet seat.
He's a grammar Nazi, Fish. You got to watch out for shit.
Somehow it got in there, I guess. Somehow.
It just slid off the side of the toilet seat. It was like a slip and slide toilet seat.
That was a fun video. I did have a lot of people who didn't know what was going on, and they were like, "What?" They messaged me or they left comments like, "What is this? Why is he doing this?" Because if they somehow missed the bet, and I'm like, "Oh, he didn't beat Donkey Kong Country." Most of them were like, "What? How could he not beat Donkey Kong Country?" I'm like, I don't know. We're not getting into that again, okay? That is a done storyline. But it's gonna be a fun show today. By the way, if you want to watch Fish eat the spicy banana, go to the Sword Chomp Instagram page and you can watch it forever. It will live. But let's get right to it. The topic of the show, and oh my God, is it a good one? Inspired sort of by Far Cry 5, and a lot of the critics got me thinking this week. We try our best to try the topic of the show into maybe some of the centralized games we're playing if we can. And the interesting thing about Far Cry is a lot of the critics have been slamming it for them feeling disappointed that the game didn't really take a stance or didn't have anything to say. It sort of just flirts with all these controversial themes. So that is what inspired the topic of the show. Do video games need to say something? Do they have to take a political stance? Or that's pretty much it. There's another part of that sentence that I forgot because I'm excited to get to this fucking conversation. So let's get right to it. By the way, we have a lot of comments that were left here on the Sword Chomp Instagram that we're going to feed into our conversation as well. So here's my starting thought, guys. And we can just hit this thing hard right from the beginning. That's what she said. I feel pretty strongly about this. I prefer my bravery in the form of game design, not really social commentary. And so I like the idea that sure, a game could say something if it wants to, doesn't have to. But like for me, the real bravery that I'm interested in comes in like game design. Like for example, we're playing a lot of Sea of Thieves that me and Josh are going to talk about later. And that's a brave game because if you don't have people to play that thing with,